The waves crashed like rolling thunder across the shores of Velmara 7, a planet draped in vast oceans and stormlit skies. For Captain Jace Merrill, stranded after a transport malfunction, the planet was both beautiful and merciless. His escape pod had landed 3 days ago, and food was scarce. But water was everywhere. Jace stood waist-deep in the shallows, checking his makeshift fishing spear when a strange glimmer caught his eye just beneath the surface. At first, he assumed it was a trick of light or one of the bioluminescent sea creatures common to this world. But then he saw a pale hand drift upward. He dropped the spear and dove. The current dragged at him like invisible claws. He swam deeper, heart hammering in his chest. 20 feet below, tangled in kelp, was a humanoid form, a woman, slender, regal, her skin a faint silver blue. Long hair floated like ink in water, and her eyes were closed. He wrapped an arm around her waist and kicked upward with all his strength. They broke the surface just as Jace's lungs screamed for air. He dragged her to the shore, laid her in the sand, and began chest compressions. She was cold. Too cold. His training from the Corps kicked in, and after several desperate minutes, she gasped. Her eyes fluttered open. Pale violet, with slitted pupils. She stared at him, expression unreadable. Then, without a word, she passed out. When she woke again, the sun was rising. Jace had managed to start a small fire, and draped his jacket over her. She sat up slowly, brushing wet sand from her arms, and spoke in a melodic language he didn't recognize. "I don't understand you," he said gently. "You almost drowned. I pulled you out." She blinked, cocking her head, then raised her palm and pressed it to his forehead. A surge of warmth pulsed through his skull. "Now, do you understand me?" she asked. He startled. "Yes. Who are you?" "I am Princess Thalira of the House Dinari, heir to the throne beneath the Western Abyss." "Royalty," Jace murmured. "Of course." She looked around, then back at him. "You saved my life. You touched me. That makes you mine." "What?" "It is the law of my people. Life for life. A sacred bond. You pulled me from death, I am yours, but more importantly, you are mine." Jace rubbed his face. This planet just gets weirder by the day. They made camp together near a cave in the cliffside. Though Thalira insisted she owed him a life debt, she was no helpless maiden. She could summon water from the air, control currents, and even speak to aquatic beasts. Her strength returned quickly, and with it, her pride. Jace watched her work one morning, coaxing a fish to leap into her hands. "So, this bond. What does that mean exactly? Like a friendship?" She glanced at him sideways. "No. It is sacred. Binding. You are under my protection. My claim. My chosen. Chosen. You may not understand, but in my world, a royal only bonds with those the ocean accepts. You pulling me from its depths, that is no accident." Jace was still trying to figure out how to survive long enough for a rescue ship. Now he had a water-controlling alien princess declaring she owned him. His week was officially insane. But he couldn't deny a growing connection. She was fiercely intelligent, graceful, and surprisingly funny. One night, under the light of twin moons, she told him stories of underwater kingdoms, coral fortresses, and great serpents that coiled around seamounts. "I thought humans were selfish," she said softly, eyes flickering with ocean light. "But you risked yourself for me. That is not selfish. That is rare." A week passed. Then 2. Still no signal from the colony network. Jace began building a longer-range beacon while Thalira guided sea beasts to bring him salvage from a sunken freighter. One of the creatures, a translucent ray the size of a house, glided onto the beach and dropped a communications array at their feet like a dog bringing home a stick. "You're terrifying," Jace told her with a grin. She smiled. "I prefer effective." As he worked on assembling the array, Thalira grew quieter. One night, while staring into the fire, she said, "My people will come for me soon. I left without permission." "Why?" "My father promised me to the Lord of the Abyss. I refused. So I fled. But they'll track my blood in the water eventually." Jace looked at her for a long time. You're afraid. I fear not death. I fear losing choice. He understood that too well. The signal array finally lit green. I can call a ship, Jace said. We'll both be off this planet. Thalira's face fell. You will leave. I thought that's what we wanted. She hesitated. I do not want to be parted from you. His heart beat faster. Then come with me. My people. You said you were fleeing. Then keep running. With me. She stepped close. If I do, I must complete the bond. Fully. What does that mean? She took his hand and pressed it to her chest. Her skin shimmered like starlight. It is more than a promise. It is unity. You would carry my mark. And I, yours. Jace's hand trembled slightly. You sure? I chose you the moment I awoke in your arms. He leaned in. She met him halfway. The kiss was electric, filled with warmth, memory, the pull of deep water and starlit tides. As their lips met, a glowing sigil bloomed on his forearm, shaped like a spiral wave. I guess this means I'm yours now, he whispered. She smiled. You always were. The ship arrived days later, slicing through cloud and ocean like a silver dagger. Jace and Thalira boarded together, hand in hand. The crew, mostly humans, looked at the strange pair and wisely kept their questions to themselves. Thalira gazed out the window as the blue planet shrank beneath them. I will miss the sea. You've got all the oceans in the galaxy now, Jace said. She turned to him. No. I have you. That is enough.